Welcome, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, to our first ever TikTok Live podcast. This is Brotherhood in Arms, Real Talk Unfiltered, and today we have a guest with us, our first ever guest on our episode, Jim. Welcome aboard, and Ty, thank you for taking part as our co-host with this new project of ours. Welcome, lads.
Big respect.
Thank you, mate. Much appreciated.
Are you honestly feeling about this?
Yeah, good.
Ty?
No, mate, do you know what? I'm glad to be getting it on and getting it going, to be honest, mate. It's been a time.
We've talked about this for a long time, haven't we, Ty?
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like there's no better of a person that we could have started with than Jim, to be honest. Especially after like our conversation the other day, Jim, and like how much we
our short conversation, you mean?
Yeah, our short hour and 40-minute conversation. Yeah, definitely.
I'm not gonna lie. When Ty told me about that, I'm surprised you kept the tension for that long. I'm not gonna lie.
I think, in all fairness, though, Jim, the convo just flowed as well, didn't it? So I think it kind of helped the situation massively. Do you know what I mean?
Right then, Ty, the wheel is yours, broke.
As we was talking about last week, I was saying to Calvin earlier that like I took a couple of notes on things that we was talking about, and I said that you referred to yourself as being an open book, and if your struggles can help by talking to other people and help them, then that makes you feel better about yourself. So I was just wondering if you could elaborate for the people on exactly what you meant by all of that.
Yeah, so like I've been through some shite in my life, like bullying and other things, and if my struggles have taught me those lessons on getting through it, if I can then show somebody about those struggles and teach somebody about those struggles, then it can help them through it. Then they can pass it on to somebody else, and it just completely wasn't for my struggle wasn't for nothing.
So I guess, like as we were speaking about the other day, you kind of feel like if people can relate and they're say in similar situations, that if they look at you as the rule book to how you've dealt with it, it might be able to help them in the future with their struggles and help them overcome the problems that they're going through.
Yeah, I like to be able to shine a light, basically, and so people that are struggling in the darkness can look towards that light. And then they've got a bit of guidance. They've got a bit of like, they're not alone.
Yeah. I kind of think it's like that reassurance as well. So I feel like when you're going through hard times, you don't actually really believe like how close to the light at the end of the tunnel you actually are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't know about you boys, but when you've gone through, like when you're going through some of that, all of a sudden you feel very alone.
Yeah, 100%.
And I never want anyone who knows me to feel like that.
Yeah.
Because I felt it.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody else to be struggling and not understanding or knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'd rather be able to shine that light and be like, hey, look, you've got this going on, but here's a couple of things that I found that helped me when I was going through the same.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I kind of feel like you said, emphasizing on the fact of being alone, it's your brain and your head is such a weird place to be locked in. Like you could be surrounded by so many people that are great characters and great mindsets, but that split second of silence, you're back stuck within your head, and it takes a lot to get out of your head no matter what the situation you're in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely. So with all of this, obviously, we said last week that you suffer with mental health and ADHD. So how do you feel like that plays into a part with your troubles and your struggles in life? Like, do you feel like the ADHD has made it sometimes worse, or the mental health has played a big part in feeling like you're stuck in certain places?
Well, they kind of like impact each other. So with the ADHD part, there's a lot of it is down to something called RSD, which is called rejective sensitive dysphoria.
Okay.
And basically, we feel every emotion. We feel every knockback.
Yeah.
100 times more than what a normal person would.
Okay.
and a lot of that impacts it. But 9 times out of 10, most people who get diagnosed with ADHD later in life had depression and anxiety beforehand.
Kind of links, don't it?
It does. There's a massive link between it. And so, for me, I got diagnosed after I was going through ADHD burnout.
Yeah.
Because it mimicked depression. There's a link. If you look at the two links together, between ADHD burnout and depression, they are very heavily together.
Nice. I get what you're saying. So I feel like with you saying that, like find it out later on in life, is I wrote down myself the other day when we was talking, like on the subject part, that you was, I think you said 37, was it? When you finally
I was 37.
Yeah, with
37 diagnosed, yeah.
Yeah. So then with that, I guess, next question would be more like, do you feel, because I guess with ADHD, like you're racing, it's hard to concentrate and stuff like that. Is that, I guess you wouldn't really know if it's made it any worse with your mental health, do you know what I mean? But do you feel like you get more flooded with feelings and thoughts, or do you feel like they attack you in different ways because of it?
I feel like it's hard to differentiate, because with ADHD, you get a lot of impulsive thoughts, a lot of intuitive thoughts. And it's the same that goes with depression. It's just trying to separate which ones are depressive and which ones are the ADHD, because you could say something to somebody in passing, not really thinking much of it, and all of a sudden they think you're going to be doing something silly. But at the end of the day, you're just saying what you're thinking, and others take it the wrong way.
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. I guess it's kind of like as well, you don't really know which ones are, say, the intrusive thoughts, whether it's from the depression, the anxiety and everything, compared to the ADHD within itself, because your brain's so much in overload, it's hard to, like you said, differentiate which ones.
Yeah, it's hard to you've got to try to separate which ones are actually which. Otherwise, you end up with just going into a spiral.
And is there many things that you take for your ADHD? Like, do you have much input from a doctor, from hospitals, consultants, like medication? I know we spoke about medication the other day, and you said about.
So, the funny thing is, right, as soon as you get a diagnosis, it's basically, bye, off you go.
Right, okay.
It's literally, here's this piece of paper, and here's this medicine. Good luck, off you go.
So you're kind of left to your own devices to try and do like a little bit more research and find your own footing on what's going to help you and what's not going to help you.
Totally agree to that one on that one, Jim.
Yeah.
Totally agree there.
And it's like, you go there and it's, oh yeah, so my brain's not broken after all. It's just wired differently compared to everything else and everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay, like, how do I departmentalise this? So I learned a lot from TikTok, if I'm honest.
Yeah, TikTok at its best, as always.
Because there was actual people on here talking about what they struggle with, and it normalised it for me.
Yeah, and I think that was something that we spoke about as well the other day when we were talking about the views that we've got across our page and stuff, and you were saying like you've had a couple of million views talking about certain diagnoses and things around life in itself. So I think that resonates with a lot of people, because I've definitely seen things like, so I went through it having counselling for PTSD, and when you see videos regarding PTSD and certain things like that across TikTok, it hits home like so much with it all. And that's what I think is probably like, as weird as it is to think you learn a lot of stuff from TikTok, but it is quite knowledgeable, isn't it, within in itself? Do you know what I mean?
It's, the thing is with like, say TikTok, it's real people giving real explanations.
Yeah.
It's the same around mental health as well. You've got real people talking about their struggles and what they deal with, and it then resonates with you, and you don't feel alone. It's a lived experience. It's lived experiences, like Mental Health Mondays just
Yeah, I
said.
was just about to say, I've just seen that come up then. Big shout out to him for that.
You'll learn more from this than any textbook or anything else like around. You'll learn more from lived experiences and people than you're going to from a textbook or...
Jim, I do have a question for you. Sorry to interrupt, Ty.
That's why I may carry on, bloke. You're here with me.
I do have a question. Obviously, I was diagnosed at 12. Well, probably before that as well, to be honest, with severe ADHD. And the one thing I noticed looking back in my past when they were saying all of it to me, did you ever feel at one point when you're looking back in your past, if you tried to grow up with your head in the cloud and you're very spaced out and you're trying to resist the temptation of lashing out because no one's listening to you and everything like that? Did you ever feel like any of that in the past kind of explains now to the modern day?
Oh yeah, when I got my diagnosis, I went through like a grieving period because I didn't quite understand anything. And then I had this piece of paper to say, "Oh, you've got combined ADHD." And I'm like, great, now how do I deal with this? And then I ended up looking back at everything in my life. And I'm like, thanks, brain. I did not want to listen to your life at like 1 a.m. in the morning.
Because one thing about it is, right, it doesn't shut off, does it? You know, the amount of people tell you to go on medication or, you know, try and get some sleep. And it's like, why didn't I think of that? You know, the medicine that they give you, obviously, they instantly gave me Ritalin and it never worked with me. And to me, it's just like they're trying to palm you off with medication to act more zombified, more obedience, when it's actually not. We're trying to scream and cry out for help with different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the realization, isn't it? It's the realization of it hitting home, and like it's all right feeling like you're different to other people, but you know when they tell you that you're actually different and it's on paper, and you get that realization, you have that time to sit down and actually think about it, you do look back on life and realize how many times you've been affected in certain situations and how it might have been easier growing up if you would have had, say, that diagnosis and a bit more background on what actually you've been suffering with for 20 plus years or so. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I looked back at everything and I'm like, hang on, if I had this in place, would I have done this? Would I have done that? Would I have done anything? But on the flip side of it, I then look back and there's things I've done and I'm like, do you know what? I wouldn't have done that if I was like, if I knew what my brain was doing. And like, I wouldn't, some of these things and some of these people I've met, I wouldn't have done. Like, I wouldn't have met some of the friends that I got now if it wasn't for being like doing stupid shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think like, not taking anything away from yourself, but I feel like with me, I only got told that I suffer with PTSD about a year ago or so now. And when I come out of my last relationship, I was with her for nearly 8 years. And I feel like now with them telling me, this is the reason why you are the way you are, this is why you react to certain things, it makes more sense to me about a lot of things in life. Like, to me, it don't feel like it's necessarily just come from that one relationship. Do you know what I mean? I feel like jumping to conclusions, reacting differently. And I think I notice that it affects me more, but I feel like I'm probably more able to cope with it now because having that diagnosis and then looking at traits from it, it helps process things in your head to say, this is why you're going to act like this. This is why you're acting like that, and get around it that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it helps you like navigate. It helps once you've got like that bit of confirmation, you can navigate and you can find out what helps you, and you can also find out what can trigger you as well, so you can step away from those triggers. And to be able to get the mindset right, to be able to be, okay, I can do this. All right, I'm going to step away from this conversation, or do you know what? I'm not going to see that person anymore because that person is not good for me.
Yeah, I definitely
Do you know,
agree
on
with
that, on like, sorry, Ty.
Right, no, go on.
On that trigger process, do you know, even Ty doesn't know this. There's only one trigger that well, no, sorry, two triggers that trigger me off. One has been like since childhood, and the other one has obviously been since I left secondary school. And I can relate to the triggers part purely to the fact if it's how it comes across. Like the one trigger triggers me off, I'm not going to say it because I'll probably get banned, is, you know when someone's calling you stupid, but it's the
Yeah,
THICK way, that.
Yeah,
And then you've got
yeah,
the phrase, see you next Tuesday.
yeah,
See, I was called that in school by my teachers. I was called that by family growing up because I wasn't processing, like you just said, you don't process. If you find a lesson boring, you're not going to process anything in that lesson. So you're
no,
instantly assumption you're stupid, you know, and that was one of my major triggers growing up is that word. If anyone ever used that word, I would shut down easily and just like, yeah, I ain't talking to you now for the next couple of hours, maybe a day or two.
yeah. See, I think some people don't fully understand that. Like, do you know, for me, it's like certain smells, certain situations, certain tones of voice, certain way people look at me, and I feel automatically judged. I feel like I have to be in that fight or flight mode because I've learnt responses from last time and previous time in life. So yeah, I completely
yeah,
understand that because I feel like since having the kids on my own and being like this single dad, having to do everything on my own and then having them people that still view me the same way that they did 10 years ago is such a big mindset change because no one wants to actually see your growth once you've painted them a picture of a certain situation around yourself. And not many people actually want to take the time out to think, hold on, is there a reason why this person is the way they are in so many situations? Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think there's a big positive, I think, to learning a lot. If you dive within yourself, you realize a lot without realizing you're realizing a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot
yeah.
to learn about yourself.
That's the thing. Like we're deep people. Like we're
Yeah,
deep humans.
yeah,
Once you can try to separate what's fact and what's fiction.
yeah.
If it helps, growing up, I generally thought I was an alien from Doctor Who. If it helps, because that's how my mind was when I was growing up. But I would totally
Sometimes
want
Yeah,
to.
you do. You feel like you said, like an alien. You feel like you're not
yeah.
a
You feel
normal.
Yeah,
like you're on the complete
Yeah,
outside.
you
You
feel
just
like
feel
you're
like,
crazy.
yes, I've got all these people around me, but I just do not feel like I'm here. And I don't feel
yeah.
You
like
feel
I
like you don't
belong.
fit in. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
that's
It's
one
something that
thing I realized.
something that you latch onto for like a safe net. So when your brain's fried up or you're getting it too much in your ear, you just wander off to your safe net and you're like, you know what? That's where I'm happy. That's where I know I'm who I am. I'm going to that safe net right there, and regardless of anyone, doesn't like me or think I'm weird, that's where I'm happy.
Yeah, I generally think it is a comfort blanket, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone wants to feel safe within something, and if you've got a safe place in your brain that you can go to, it definitely helps massively with a lot of things. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Like our brains are brilliant things, but at the same time,
They're
they can be
also
our own
dangerous.
worst enemy.
Yeah, 100%.
They could
See,
be
what
our
was
worst
that?
enemy. They could be our worst enemies because they will overplay a conversation or over
Yeah,
process a conversation that you've had like 20 years ago.
100%. See, like, we was talking the other week, and we were saying about you having the neurodivergency and stuff like that, and hypermobility. So I guess, like, within that being said, I just feel like there's probably a lot of things that you've had to deal with within your life. And would you say that you're at like the top end of it now? Would you feel like you're managing it all now, like with
Oh
everything,
yeah, like
ADHD and everything?
at the moment I'm on top of my ADHD. I'm on top of like my mental health, my physical health, not so much so, but I'm awaiting a operation, so I can't really do much until then.
Is this for
But
your spine,
everything,
like you were telling me the other week?
yeah,
For your back, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, but all that aside, I'm like, I can deal with things more easily now than I used to be able to.
Okay.
and because I can understand why my brain's doing these things,
Yeah.
I don't feel guilty about doing certain things.
Yeah. I get you. And I guess it's
Whereas
probably
before
took a
I'd
lot.
do something and I'd feel guilty about it, but I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And now I know why.
Yeah, I guess it's probably took a lot for you to get to that point as well, though, hasn't it? Like, I guess with everyone else, like Sassy just put in there about like overthinking and stuff. Like, I think that for me is one of my biggest problems is overthinking. But then again, I kind of guess, do you know when you overthink things too much and it turns out to come out true, you don't feel as insane. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, psychic, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Definitely.
and it's also if, like, say you overthink something and then all of a sudden the conversation goes exactly how it went in your head and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, 100%. Definitely. I definitely agree with that. So, Jim, tell us a little bit about family life. What's family life for you? You with someone? Obviously, I know we spoke the other week and you said you got a child and stuff like that. So, it's a bit of a download.
I'm divorced and single, and I've got a 10-year-old little boy who has autism. And then, but yeah, my family life consists of basically me. I've got my 2 sisters living in this country.
Nice.
And then my mum moved to Portugal 3 years ago.
Okay, cool. I remember you saying that the other day, that your mum obviously lived in Portugal now and stuff like that. So I guess when it comes down to kids, I know we spoke about it and I've wrote it down in my notes that you feel like having your son saved you in many ways. So like, how do you feel? Do you feel like that's because your mental health was so bad and having a child is give you a different outlook on wanting to stick around for him, or?
What I'm going to say now, and maybe we should start with this, but if I say anything that triggers or makes everyone feel uncomfortable, please reach out to one of us.
Yeah, 100%. We're all here, definitely, to listen.
So I was going through a real rough period where I lost 4 members of my family.
Yeah.
I lost my marriage and everything else. Within about a space of about a year, less than a year, everything went. And I was going through some rough times. And I remember going to work one day. Well, one day I say that's one night. I used to work nights. And I was just getting really loud, intrusive thoughts of like, I'm just going to walk in the road, shall we say.
Yeah, just disappear.
I'm just going to walk in the road. Oh, look, a lorry. I'm just going to walk in front of it. That was the mindset. Obviously a bit darker, but
You
yeah.
got to keep it somewhat PG.
Then something just clicked. And it was almost like there was like a little voice in my head. And it was my son, just saying my name, just saying daddy. And all of a sudden, I stopped dead. And I just turned around and went home. And I was like, I need help.
Do you know what that is? Jimbo, do you know what that is?
What's that?
Because I can relate to that because I've done that twice in my past. That right there is a bit of your subconscious forcing you back from that edge. It's like that. You remember when you talked earlier in the live that you talked about the light, that you're trying to help people, give the light. And so that was your inner light in your head when it all was darkness. I've always said, even in the very darkest times in your head, there's always a light that still wants to shine. And that right there that stopped you was the light that needed to shine fucking bright for you to at that moment. And it had to use your son for you to register that you need to still keep going. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. That's 100% what it was. And that was the moment in which I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to get myself some help and reach out to somebody rather than just sticking my head in the sand and not talking or not being aware of what's going on. This isn't normal. And
I
then
think it's a big wake-up call, isn't it?
it is like I had, like that day, I didn't actually go to bed. Rather than go to work that night, I just stayed up and overthought for quite a lot of the night. But then that morning, I just phoned up my doctor and said, I need help. And those moments are the hardest, but it was the most freeing I felt because I've asked for that help, because I'm not doing it by myself.
Did you feel scared, though, reaching out for help?
Oh, yeah. I felt absolutely petrified. I felt like I'm going to reach out for help, but I'm not going to get any help because I'm not doing stupid stuff.
Yeah. See, obviously I've had custody for the kids now, 4 years in June. So like, don't get me wrong, we've smashed it, but I feel like going through the breakup, fighting for custody, doing everything like that, trying to get back on our feet, moving from homes to get to where we are now, I think it all took its toll. And then back the beginning of last year, I remember I had a breakdown at the school, burst into tears. I spoke to one of the teachers and she was like, Ty, you need to go to the doctors, like try and get back on medication, try and get your level head back to yourself. And she helped me fill in the form online. And I had my appointment come through. I went to the doctors, and the moment I sat down in the chair, the doctor's like, right, Tyrone, I've seen the notes, and I think we should maybe reach out to social services to try and get you a bit of help. And I was like, whoa. Like, that was like such a fear for me because I wasn't failing as a parent. My kids was fed, the house is clean.
It's that instant panic of, they're going to take the kids off of me.
100%, because they didn't feel like I was mentally stable, but I was still getting up every day. A bit like yourself, I kind of feel like if I didn't have my kids, only God knows where I'd be. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of feel like they're more of a blessing than they ever realise. And they tell me every day, about 50 times a day, they're like, Daddy, I love you. Daddy, thank you for this. And there's going to come to a point when they're a little bit more older and they're able to understand that. I'm going to sit back and say, all them times that you thanked me, like, it's appreciative, but you don't realize how much I need to thank you guys, because if it wasn't for you lot, then you wouldn't have had me growing up. You would have ended up in a different situation. Do you know what I mean? I feel for me, I was proper, like you said, using the word petrified to be able to go and reach out to someone. And I think after I spoke to the doctor and they were saying about social and stuff like this, I was like, listen, kids are healthy. You can see that everything around me is good. It's just my brain. I'm trying to catch up on stuff that I haven't dealt with for years and stuff like that. So I feel, it's a scary place to be in when you feel you have to reach out. But I also believe that the moment that you realize you're struggling and that there's a problem, you're halfway to solving the problem. It's just, you don't see, like I said earlier, the light at that tunnel at that moment in time, but you're only a couple of steps away from it, but them steps are big old jumps sometimes.
Yeah, and I think what Joel said in the comments there, and it's your kids are your anchors. That is, my son is always my anchor. He keeps me grounded. And I remember a conversation with one of the mental health nurses, and she was like, so what keeps you going?
Yeah.
And I just said, my son.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, what else? Like, my son.
Yeah.
And she's like, there's got to be something else. I said, no, my son. My son is literally, my kid is the one thing holding me down and saving me. And he's the one reason that I keep fighting and I will not stop.
And I guess for you as well, Drew, because obviously, like when we was talking the other day, we had a bit of a chat around kids and around your son. You were saying that your son has autism, ADHD, and Arthur eating disorder. So do you feel that because, not necessarily just because of his struggles in life, but do you feel like that makes you not want to give up on yourself as much because you know how difficult life was for you growing up, that you want to give not 100%, but like 100,000% to your child?
Yeah, like that's literally it. I don't want him And I said this to my ex when we split. I said, I don't want him to have the child I did. So I want us to be amicable as possible. I want us to be able to communicate. I want us to be able to make decisions together. And I'm going to be there for him for anything, regardless.
And I think that's like such a struggle when it comes down to breakups as well, isn't it? Is that co-parenting side of things, let alone when there's issues in a kid's life that they have to deal with as well. That co-parenting side of things to a breakup and trying to find that balance between your ex-partner and stuff like that on how you're going to cope with certain things. Because I know that was, I mean, don't get me wrong, my kid's mum don't see him, hasn't seen him for 4 years. So I kind of feel like for me, it's been a blessing on that situation. Do you know what I mean? But I do know people that are out there that co-parent quite well and they have that balance and they're there for each other if and when they need. But I just feel like some people can't differentiate the love for their ex more than the love for the child. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what it should be about, the child. Any decisions, anything should be about the child.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what we've all, like, we're both like, we get on really well.
Yeah.
Like, me and my ex, we get on well. We'll have conversations about my son and we'll organise things together and we'll try to do everything together. Yeah. So he's got the support there.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have any diagnosis growing up. And I didn't want to be him getting to, say, 15, 16 and having the troubles that I did throughout school.
Yeah. I think
because I didn't understand myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we live life as like, we make the mistakes so our children don't have to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was saying this to my oldest the other day, because my oldest is 12, and he's just like a mini me. The attitude, the way he looks at life and the way he views life, he's just me all over. And I've had to say to him, like, you're going to meet people in your life and you're going to think like at a young age that's the one and everything like that. But just be patient with it. You don't have to rush anything, because I rushed a lot of things. I'm now, like I said, a single dad to 3 kids. I got 5 in total. Do you know what I mean? Not one of their mums has custody. My older 2 live with my mum and dad. So I feel like I've made them mistakes that I feel no one around me growing up had made for me to learn from. You just have people telling you like, I ain't going to be like that. It's not going to be like that until you go through it yourself.
We make the mistakes so they don't have to.
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. And that's what
like,
I think
we make the mistakes and choices so they don't have to. And they can learn from our mistakes.
Yeah, 100%. It's like I said to you the other day, Jim. I look at, like, I know I rambled on a little bit about it, but I just feel like life is like school, and you're going to continue to keep reliving the same lessons until you pass the tasks that made you fail the last time that you've done the test. And then only when you pass it will you get your certificate for graduation. You can't go through life and just move on from situation after situation after situation until you have learnt that lesson from everything that you've dealt with.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. What's the things that you've learned as children to now that, because I see it in some parents, they do it every day. What's one thing that have taught you to from the past now, moving forward, that aren't doing it today, and like the parents try and stop it, the parents try and correct it and stuff like that? What's the one thing that, you need to let the children learn in time?
I think mistakes is probably a big one for me.
Everyone has mistakes. You got to let them make the mistakes, and you got to let them learn.
You got to let them learn to fail, make mistakes, and learn from it, because they weren't going to get it.
Then show them what it's like to bounce back, and show them what it's like to celebrate those little wins and celebrate those little victories when you've made a mistake.
I see it from parents now these days where they're trying to correct their kids without them even doing that mistake. They're like, I can see you doing that mistake. It's not, I did that when I was a kid. That's not the right move. And I'm like, then how are they going to learn from that mistake? You need to let them learn them as well, and then just be that person to hold their hands or give them a cuddle after that mistake and just say, we're here, we'll give you that push, we'll get you back on your feet, it's all good, it'll be fine. That's, to me, that's the definition of a parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think like to put it into like an analogy, like I don't suffer with ADHD, but I know you two do. So you can tell me so much about ADHD, but I'm only going to know it from one point of view, and that's your guys' view. But if I'm going to get a book and I'm going to start doing research, I'm going to know about it as a whole rather than the small point in the middle. So you have to learn everything around the situation and exactly that, learn from it to realize how you understand it as a whole within yourself as a person, I believe.
Yeah, and like literally, the thing is like someone just put in the comments then, autism is the complex one.
Oh yeah. So,
autism is another animal compared to ADHD. Like that one is a battle, and it's a battle that I will never give up.
No, that's it. I think.
Can I
Go on.
Can I ask you one thing, Jim? Because Ty spoke about it about a while back about eating disorder.
Yeah.
Is it stems from like ADHD and autism, or is it just like something that the doctors have said? Because I know they sometimes say, "Oh, it's on its own accord. It's its own method." You know, where picker comes from and stuff like that. But you know, does it link into anything?
Arthur is heavily linked with autism,
right?
And a lot of like, if you speak to anyone with a diagnosis, it takes a lot to get that diagnosis because the doctors don't tend to want to diagnose it, or they're not knowledgeable enough to diagnose it. So it ties in with autism because a lot of it is sensory based. So around like the textures, the smells, the feels, the unpredictability. The unpredictability around it as well, because like they can only have one set thing. And if it's in a different packaging, there was a story not long ago about a lady, I think it might have been during lockdown, say not longer, during lockdown, that she couldn't get a hold of Walker's crisps. And it was the only thing her son would eat.
See, mine's banana. Can't eat banana. All stew. Actually, I haven't said that. I cannot have banana. The texture of it, nope. And stew, I cannot eat stew. It's just way too... The texture for it is just non-existent. It makes me throw up. That's like my food to take from that.
So like, I'm just looking now, like Hal said it took 10 years to get a diagnosis. And that's the thing, because it's so unknown and unpredictable, it takes so much to get that diagnosis. And the problem is, say you do get the diagnosis, they won't turn around and give you any support with it. You've just got to go, here you go.
Here's a book, here's the meds, try your best. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Yeah.
And I guess that's probably like a big problem as well in itself, isn't it? Is actually chasing the doctors for that outcome of what it could possibly be if they don't know what they're on about. Do you know what I mean? I think like that's a big problem.
See, I
in
can't.
the way it works.
Even though I hate the doctors, like even though I've got anger towards them, there's also a part of me, I don't know if Jim agrees, there's also a part of me that I can't really be angry at them because they're only being told to do by the scientists above, like the science doctors and all that study it day in and day out. They're only being told by it on the rule books. They're only being told by what to do with the medication. Like, unless they've got a massive degree and study the actual link, because we all know now we're still trying to figure out more to ADHD, more to autism. There's so much more, and they're trying to study it. But there's a part of me that can't be angry towards them because they're only just getting told what to do by the scientist above them who are trying to study. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I went to the pediatrician appointments, and I'm like, I've done the research into this because I couldn't work out what was going on when my son's eating. Me and my ex were really struggling to find out what was going on. We were trying everything. I was like, this doesn't make sense. And this is before I got my ADHD diagnosis. I spent probably a good whole night sat up reading stuff online. And then I came across ARFID. And I was like, hang on, this is all making a lot of sense. So that morning I sent it to my ex and she was like, that's it. That makes so much sense. And sorry, I'm just laughing at Sassy's comment. Like, yeah, that one, and they're just being picky, or if they're hungry, they'll eat.
Yeah.
Sweetheart, my son went 3 months without eating. I think you'll find now. Jog on.
I think most of them, they do, don't they? They go to university, they get their degree, they read a lot of it from a book. And I think, like, I got a friend from Reading from when I moved down to Reading just before I took the kids on. And his name's Matt. He's a top, like, he's like a proper mate of mine, like a proper, like a brother from another mother type of thing. And like, he suffers with like psychosis at times. And I remember him saying, like, he spoke to people. Do you know when you ring up the helplines and stuff like that? And he spoke to someone and he was saying, like, look, I'm seeing people talking to me and I know they're not there. And the response he kind of got was like, don't think about it. And he's like, but it's not that simple not to just think about it. Do you know what I mean? But he was saying, like, you can tell that they're just reading it from a book on whatever they've been told to approach every situation the exact same. But I kind of feel like it's people like us that's had our own challenges in life where people are going to learn a lot more from it. Like you said at the beginning, Jim, about being an open book and wanting to help people through your own trials and tribulations. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot to it to be able to be that realization for people out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing is, what a lot of problems stems from is having support.
Yeah.
So mental health, neurodivergence, any of it, the complete lack of support that is out there is unbelievable. Unless you look for it.
Yeah.
And if you look for that support, you will find it. It's not very well publicized, but if you're willing to look for it and find it, there's plenty out there.
And I guess it's also knowing what to look for. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's if you've got no one telling you, like, what lanes to go down, how do you know where to look? Because we was on about this, me and Calvin, the other day, with like Google and ChatGPT and stuff like that. Like, it gives you like a different Google. You should just put something in and you get an answer back that's generic. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many things
ChatGPT is becoming my PA.
Yeah, ChatGPT has been my best friend, especially when it comes down to like health situations. And like, I've had it help me understand how to do the DLA form for my son and stuff. So obviously I know we've been on about kids and you were saying about your son, Jim. As I explained the other day, my son's got a thing called neurofibromatosis. So when he was like 15, 16 months old, he fell on a ball pit ball and broke his tibia in his leg. We ended up getting moved from Cheltenham General to Gloucester, where they said they thought it was a cyst. They've moved us then from Gloucester to Bristol Children's Hospital. And I remember walking through the ward and seeing this little girl, like with the drips in her arm, family looking sympathetic, not understanding fully why we was there. And then we got presented with the doctors, 3 or 4 of them, and to be told that they was like cancer specialists in children. So this neurofibromatosis gives tumours on your nerve systems. And I feel like ChatGPT has probably helped me understand a lot more about it than doing Google research or listening to a doctor, because my son's doctors don't really deal with the situation, so we're back and forth from Bristol and Gloucester Hospital at least once a year, twice a year, or whatever. But I'm still catching up on stuff that mum, where mum never took him to appointments and never took him to find out anything about it. I'm still backlogged on trying to find out the information and stuff. So it is down to a lot of research that you have to do yourself. Definitely have to do it yourself. Like the type that my son's got is an F1. It is as like a short, and it's like the rarest case. So there's not much that they fully know about it. We've had in the last 7 months, we've had 4 or 5 eye tests because he's got spots growing behind his eyes. But if they start getting bigger, he could go blind. So it's kind of like you're always trying to have to stay on top of certain things to try and make sure that you can give your children the best well-being around the condition that they're dealing with.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think it shows as a parent how much when we learn more about our child's condition than the professionals. But we do it so we can understand everything behind it.
Yeah.
And because we know anything can change. So we want to be able to know what to do when something changes.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like it's hard to fight for something if you don't know what you're fighting for.
100%. And that goes for like everything in life. Like,
yeah, relationships, day to day, just simple things in life. I think it's a task that if you don't know what to look for, if you go into a room with 1,000 items but you don't know what you're going in there for, all you're going to see is 1,000 items. Do you know what I mean?
True that.
Like, you're not going to know what you're going in there for unless you have that mindset of, I want a tea bag, I want the kettle.
I was going to say, I go into my kitchen every day not knowing what I'm actually going in the kitchen for.
That's it.
But
That's why you leave and come back with the knowledge. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. So yeah, I just kind of feel like that's a major point in society. I think that we struggle with is everyone having that knowledge, and that's why I feel like groups like Kelvin's, these sort of little podcast things that we're doing, are starting to do from now on, it is going to help raise awareness, because we're going to be speaking to so many different people with so many different backgrounds that even if it's one person that relates and can feel the help to it, then I guess for me and Kelvin will back me up on this. We feel like we've done our job. We feel like we've managed to help someone where we never had the help for ourselves. Do you know what I mean? And like, yeah, I feel like that's it's a big thing. It's feeling, like you said at the beginning, Jim, not feeling like you're alone. Stuck in your head is probably like one of the hardest jails to ever get out of, because it's a life sentence. It's a life sentence.
It's a prison, and you're holding the keys.
100%. 100%. It's just hard to find the lock to open the door every now and again.
Yeah.
See, it's that as well as you got to. It's on that quote though. It's also trying to find a loophole to be let's say, a locksmith. To find how you could be a locksmith to that loophole.
Yeah.
Mental Health just said about him doing one on a night time with us, Calv. That'd be a good shout.
I would.
Yeah,
100%. Get Daniel on here, Mental Health Mondays. He'd be absolutely brilliant with you guys.
To be honest, I seen him live the other day and I joined. I can't remember which account I was on, whether it was this Real Talk one or my actual Tyrone account, but I remember I screenshotted it and sent it to Joel and was like, is this the guy from Thing Like, do you know what I mean? Matt, you're 100% right, mate. 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I just about to reply to that.
This is Matt from Reading.
Like, that is,
this is my brother. This is my guy.
Like, real life experience counts for more than any textbook.
100%. Matt, I was just saying to these guys about the conversations we've had about how you've rang up people for support when your times have been hard, and how like you haven't really never got nothing back from it apart from someone just reading for a textbook. I kind of feel like, do you know, as mad as it is, like me and Matt probably speak. I haven't seen Matt for 3 years, if not more now. Well, I've had the kids 4 years, so it's probably been about 3.5 years, 3 years max. But I feel like Matt I speak to quite a lot. Like every single week we speak, and I kind of feel like Matt's like my counsellor and I'm like Matt's counsellor. Do you know what I mean? Like hearing me, I can tell by his voice. Yeah, 100%. I feel like if you don't have friends that are like
Mine's a mirror, if that helps.
Yeah, hey, whatever's easiest though. I feel sometimes talking to yourself, you know what you're looking into. Do you know what I mean? You definitely know what you're looking into.
I'll say this now: music is my therapist.
Yes, definitely.
Correct.
100%. I think most people
Like-
that go through these things, music is a big thing. I'm a big Rod Wave
Yeah,
fan.
music and dark humor are like ways to get through it.
Yeah, definitely. It always is. So, like, Jim, I've put down here about, like, demons and things. It seems that we're still on this sort of topic about, like, things that you struggled with and stuff. And I've wrote down that accepted demons, and as we were saying, we've kind of become friends with them now. Like, it's all right having demons, but the best way to face them is just to turn around. You can't be hurt by something that you see as clear as day. So I just feel like, what sort of demons do you feel that you've overcome in life in itself, or within the last year or two?
So one of the big ones for me, I was bullied throughout my childhood.
Okay.
From primary school all the way into secondary school. And that was a big demon for me that I had to try and conquer, because I was constantly told that I was never enough. I was told that I was constantly emotional. I was told all these different things,
Yeah.
which now make sense onto why they happened and how they happened.
Yeah.
And also, one of my other demons is my family have a lot of addiction issues, shall we say.
Yeah.
And the demon I conquered was, I looked and I thought, I'm not doing that. I'm not being like that person.
So
I
do
don't
you
want to put
feel
my
like,
heart.
Fair play to you, mate. Fair play.
yeah, do you feel like that growing up around addiction within family helped you? Because I know for myself, so my dad was a big drug user, and I feel for myself that I never wanted to be that guy. Like, don't get me wrong, I smoked, but I never tried nothing more hardcore because I seen the downfall that it goes down to. And I feel like as much as my real dad weren't in my life, I was always grown up way too maturely than I had to be because of them situations and seeing it. Do you know what I mean? And seeing the way that it was. So do you feel like, I know we spoke the other day and you said you've had troubles like around it with your mum and with your dad. So who do you feel that has impacted you more to want to be different with it?
I would say my dad. Even though my dad left when I was 4, I've learned more from him not being present, and I've learned more about being a father from him not being there. And I've also learned and seen things in him, and I'm like, I'm not doing that to my kid. I'm not going to be. And I said to my ex when we split up, I said, I'm going to be in his life and I'm going to be there for him no matter what. I am not having what I did when I grew up. When I grew up, I had no father figure.
Like that.
I want him to have a father figure. I want him to have somebody present who's going to show him the little things in life that I never got showed.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's a big thing for me as well, is like knowing that my dad hadn't been around. I was brought up by my stepdad, and don't get me wrong, like my stepdad is my dad. Like, he put a roof over my head, he put food on the table, he dealt with my mum with her drinking, with everything. Like, at the hardest times in her life, my stepdad has been a rock. But I feel like you still have that. As much as he would come watch me play football, like my stepdad take me to football and all of this stuff, you'd see all the other kids with their actual parents, and you still have that slight bit of envy over it.
Yeah.
I feel like people don't understand the importance of turning up. Do you know, like, a prime example, school plays. When you go and watch a child at a school play, you got 50 odd different parents, you got 50 odd different kids, but you know that them eyes are only looking for one person. And when that child sees their parent, their big smiles, they're with it then, because you're their safe place. Do you know what I mean? You are their safe place, and you have to show them that in life.
And that's the thing, like, I never had any of that growing up, and like I wanted my son to have what I didn't have.
Yes, 100%.
And like
100%.
I taught myself how to shave because I had never had anyone to show me how to shave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Same.
any of those like little tiny things, but they soon add up.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the other day, Jim, when we was talking as well, so like you said, within 12 months you lost like 4 family members. So do you feel like then people that you had lost in that short period of time would have been so much of an influence throughout your later on in life? Because I know for me, like I lost my grand young, I lost my cousin was 28, and I feel for me, I lost him at like probably one of the worst times in my life. So I lost my grandpa at like 11, 12. And that didn't help, say, for my pre-adolescent years and stuff like that, because he was such a big positive person. And then my cousin died when I was just turning 18, basically. He died a couple of months before my 18th birthday. And then I kind of feel like I had my cousin lived such a wild lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? He was always in trouble with the police. He always had that background of him where he was like a man. But losing him, I think, made things a lot harder, because you don't really have that influence of someone to turn to for that situation. So I feel like, I said it to my mum recently, like I feel like we lost so many influential people in our life, and yes, it didn't help us spiraling out of control, but they would have been people that would have been able to keep you on track, or had already learnt the lessons like we was on about, and been able to steer you down that right path again. Do you know what I mean? So I just want to know if you kind of feel like the people that you had lost within that short time would have been the same sort of results for you.
I would say so for like my nan, because my nan was an absolute amazing woman. Like she was so like loving and so knowledgeable and stuff. Like I'd be there. Like I used to go to her house and she'd teach me how to cook and how to bake. So my mum would work. My mum used to work like 2-3 jobs just to keep the roof over me and my sister's heads.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time with my grandparents and with aunties and uncles and my sisters. And they would show me things and teach me things, and they were some of the best times.
Yeah, I feel like I feel sometimes losing people that are influential is such a struggle, and it puts such a strain on certain things. I always used to look at my cousin and think, growing up, he always seemed like he had everything together, like he was a man. Do you know what I mean? He died at 28 of pancreatitis.
That was close.
Say Cal, sorry.
He's a bit close.
He died at 28. I feel like for me, it weren't until like I'm only 31 now, but I feel I only started to grow up at 28. And that's where I feel like he wasn't fully a man. He was still, if he had the same sort of mindset as what I had, he's still quite childish at them sort of ages. Like I only started to grow up at 28, but I feel like I would have maybe been able to grow up a little bit more if I had a person like that still involved in my life to be able to do it. I lost my nan at like 18 as well. Like, and I feel my nan was like my best friend. She kept so many secrets from my mum. I used to go to my nan's and she'd be like, can you go to the chippy? And I'd say, yeah. And then she'd be like, there's £4, get yourself a packet of fags. You know, like them sort of attitudes. And I feel like that was a person that I think I've missed massively throughout. And I don't think it's just because of the kids. Go on.
Sorry, go on, Carl, finish off.
No, I was just going to say, like, I don't feel like it's massively like a big thing. Like, I wish that they was there to see my kids and see how I'm living now. But I guess they got the best view over me that they could ever have. They're sat at one of the biggest.
Exactly, mate. They got the best. They got the best seat in the house.
Biggest tables, 100%, bro. They're definitely all sat around a winner's table, sat up in the clouds, watching down on me.
They just sat down and looking at you, thinking, See, now you know what it's like to have somebody like you.
And now I know that they're cheering. You know? I mean, I know that they're cheering me on with it, 100%. But sorry,
This
Cal,
is karma. Remember
Yeah,
what you were
definitely.
like when you were younger?
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's
Amen.
a version of you.
That's me
My mum says it.
That's me every day with my daughter.
My mum says it all the
My
time.
son, not so much.
She's like, Tyrone, you have 5 kids. You can't expect them all to be good. And I'm like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? Like, calm down a little bit, Hazel. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good one.
What?
What Matt just
Having
put.
to teach, to self-teach at a young age helps you solve problems in adulthood. Yeah, Jim, can you see that one? I don't know. I'm guessing that might be a question for all of us, to be honest, coming from Matt.
Yeah, I think that's for all of us.
Yeah.
Jim, you want to guess, bro?
Yeah, go on. You go first, Jim.
So for me, I'd say yes. Like, I've learned a lot from my making mistakes. I've learned a lot from things I've done in younger years to not do it again, or to also know the signs of what I'm about to do and be like, whoa, stop.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Like, seconds to that as well, Matt, basically, bro. Because I feel like you go through things at younger years that you learn through your mistakes for older years. And I think it also balances it out, like we were saying previously, like when you start to have children, when you've already lived them situations, you can implement them on your kids and help your kids see the dangers, see the trouble, see everything through your eyes, even though you're split on 2 different people. So yeah, I definitely think certain things that you self-teach as a kid helps you out massively as an adult. So I love that comment, Matt. Appreciate that. What about yourself, Cal?
I would say I'm still learning, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm still learning through that process. So unfortunately for me, I spent my 20s in the cloud.
Yeah.
So in the last couple of years, I've only just, and it might sound really weird and it might sound a bit, but only in the last couple of years, since doing Brotherhood, since doing what I do for Brotherhood and Arms, is actually come to service more than it was, let's say 5-10 years ago, where I spent most of my days in the cloud, not knowing and not understanding what life was about. You know, why do I have to wake up this morning and go to work? You know, I was always in the clouds, and I think that was because of my childhood, and I locked it all away and I kept it tucked very tightly in my head. So I went to my safe place every day, and I just got into a habit. So in the last couple of years, I would say I'm still trying to learn, like through the process of life, still trying to learn and understand things. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I feel also like me and Jim was on about the other day is like, I feel sometimes that when we go through stuff in life, we shut down massively when it comes down to certain things that we're dealing with. But I feel like these sort of situations that we're on about now definitely help spark interest for other people. But I think it also brings that realization to ourselves that shutting down and bottling it up, it ain't going to get you nowhere. Talking it out, as much as you may feel stupid talking it out, it's realizing that there's so many people out there that are similar. It's like Joe just said then, self-reflection is key. Do you know what I mean? It is 100% true, because if you don't self-reflect on certain things, how are you expected to change anything that you've already been through?
Going back to lessons.
Yeah.
I got one for you two.
Okay.
What's the biggest lesson you've ever learned?
Oh, can you wait till the end for that one? It's meant to be the end of the way, Jimbo.
I don't know. I feel
I break the cycle. That's what I do.
gotta be done. I don't know. I feel like a big lesson I've learned for myself is probably to love yourself, because you can't expect to love other people if you don't know how to reciprocate the love and give the love back. If you don't know how to love yourself, you can't love anyone else. And
I love that.
learn to accept the person that you are. Try and find confidence within yourself. 100%. I feel confidence is something I struggle with massively. That's why I was saying this to Calvin, like, and to Joel and stuff. I feel like this is such a big opportunity for me to now start putting myself out there and letting people know the person behind the Real Talk account. And it's not just things that
What
I
I've been telling you
copy.
to do for ages.
100%. It's not just something that I copy and paste it's all heartfelt stuff and spoken about from within me, and shows the people the real me, I guess. I feel, self-love is definitely a massive one for me. It's something like a lesson that I've had to learn along the journey. And I'd be lying if I said I was 100% there. But boy, we ain't at no 0% anymore. We ain't at no 0% anymore. So I don't know about yourself, Calv, but I feel like that's a big one for me.
What was the question again? Sorry.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned?
Ooh. Biggest lesson I've ever learned is whatever someone thinks of you or their opinion of you is just them. Don't ever pay attention to whatever they say. If they talk negative, if they talk about, the one thing I do struggle with in life is body confidence. I massively struggle with it. And if someone comes up to me and says, you look ugly, your body isn't that ripped as you think it is and stuff like that, ages ago, that would have affected me massively. So I think the only thing I've learned is whatever their opinions are, it doesn't matter. Whatever matters is what's in here to you. That kind of makes sense?
Yeah.
That's
probably why.
With that, Calv, is like an opinion is one person's mindset. Whether even if there's 10 people there in a circle saying their opinion, it's still only their opinion. And if it doesn't affect you, then that you're winning. They're going to try and make you be below them because they know they're already below you with everything. And there's only certain things that's sure in life. Life's going to happen. Death's going to come. The sun will rise tomorrow, even if there's clouds, and we will get the chance to sleep no matter what time we fall asleep. Everything else is irrelevant to what people seem to believe. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely a mindset thing, I think, when it comes down to life. Do you know what I mean?
So for me, it's about talking and opening up.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to open up and speak what you're thinking and reach out and talk. Because I spent God knows how long head in the sand, not knowing what's going on, and just trying to deal with stuff. Rather than talk to somebody and then somebody can actually say, you're doing this, or have you thought about doing this?
Yeah. I think it's also as well, you have to find your people, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you've got to find your tribe.
You can go speak to 1,000 people and there's only going to be a select few that's going to resonate with yourself and understand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. You got to find those tribe of people that get you and 100%. That can relate with you, and that also you can lift each other up and bring each other up, and just not have to
deal with it on your own. Yeah,
not on your own, and just talk.
I think Matt's just put here. He just put self-worth. He put self. I'm trying to type something and I'm not meaning to. Self-worth. You're worth more than you'll ever imagine. There's only one of you, and that's special in itself. And I think he's 100% right there. Like I've said throughout this live, like Matt is someone that I feel like no matter what troubles I go through, Matt's always going to be there. And like I've rang him sometimes and I've been going a bit din low in my head and I'll do this, I'll do that. And he's just like, chill, you'll ruin everything. Like you need that person to accept you to go past the line, but make sure you realize you have to get back to that level. You can't just go wild about things and just explore in certain ways that you're not knowledgeable to explore in. I feel everyone needs a friend like Matt in their life. Do you know what I mean? And that's not just because he's on the live, because I spoke about him before I even seen his name come up. But I feel like Matt is definitely a big influential person to me. And I feel even if he was to jump on this live now, this ain't even trying to sound big-headed. I know 100% he'd say the same about me, because that's just the type of people we are. We have an hour, and a bit like me and yourself, Jim, we have an hour or plus conversations, and it's generally everything. And you would think, like with some people, do you know, if you speak to them every day, you don't always have something to talk about. me and Matt will generally talk about anything, and it always starts off with like, how you feeling? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's always like, you good? And he's at a point now where if he's like, yo, bro, you good? And I'm like, yeah, man, yourself? And he's like, what's wrong? And I've had it, and he's had it where we've rang each other and I've cried to him, I've screamed, I've shouted, I've done everything. And it's never, you finished now? It's always, do you feel better now? Rather than you feel like you've took that time away from that person. Do you know what I mean? It's never like you've took an hour of their life that they're never going to get back.
Yeah, and I think you need those sort of people in your life because you know that you're going to be there for them and they're going to be there for you.
Yes, 100%.
And I think it's, as you get older, your circle becomes smaller.
Definitely. But I feel like as much as it gets smaller, the people that you have within your circle make everything bigger about the circle.
Yeah. Like, it'll get... rather than going out with like 20, 30 mates on a weekend, you got like a few odd people.
Yeah.
And I would rather that because those people I value.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's a big major thing in life within itself, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It is having the right people within your circle, because your circle's not going to move if you've got 1,000 people stuck in one mindset.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's 100%. I feel like, everyone needs to have a vision. And I feel some people are more comfortable, I think is probably the right word. Comfortable with living life day to day with the way you're stuck in it, rather than wanting to expand, wanting to grow, wanting different for yourself and the new generation around you.
It's about being the change.
100%.
And it's about looking for that change rather than being stuck in the same monotonous way.
Yeah, definitely.
And achieving the same results.
Definitely, 100%. I feel like, I don't know if there's anything else Calvin wants to add, but I just feel like since I've been up in this area, me and Calvin's got like quite close and stuff like that. And we
you can't get rid of me.
Yeah, do you know what though? I feel like, would I want to? I feel that's more of a question. I feel like if you know you value me and I value you as everything you bring to the table and vice versa, why would I want to get rid of a person that helps? Why would I want to get rid of a person that's there? Because if I don't value you, I ain't going to waste my time with you. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's a major thing as well of realization, is who you actually give your time to. Because time waits for no one. Time literally waits for no one. And it's going to keep moving forward, whether you want to sit in your own brain for 3-4 days and be depressed or not. Time's still going to move forward. And you're only getting older. You're getting closer to that knock on the door of a man in a big black hood with his little metal thing, and they call him the Reaper. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're getting closer to
Time's the only thing you cannot get back as
100%,
well.
100%.
Time is the most valuable asset in the world.
Definitely.
Jim, Ty, you asked me a question if I've got anything for Jim.
Yeah, to add, yeah.
I got one for him, but I don't know whether you've got it wrote down or not.
Go on.
Or whether you spoke to him about it.
Go on.
Moving forward, Jim, what's your goals in the future, your missions?
So, at the moment, I'm out of work due to waiting for a spinal operation. But my plan is to become a counsellor stroke therapist for people who are neurodivergent.
Nice.
I think with that answer, Calv, that kind of brings me into the next sort of 15 minutes of the last sort of question that I think I asked you. So I've got down, Jim, that about your own Discord, and that's about neurodivergency in itself, isn't it? So do you want to give the people a little bit of a background on that and tell them how, if they want to join for a bit of knowledge or anything like that, on how they can do so?
Yeah, so me and my friend Phoenix, we host a monthly live on here, and we decided to set up our own Discord server.
Yep.
To help people who are neurodivergent, as there's not a lot of support out there for us.
Yep.
No, that's true.
And we wanted a place where people could talk openly, freely, and find support from like-minded people, whether that be parents, whether that be individuals. We wanted a place where these people could go and maybe find that bit of information that they didn't know about or they couldn't understand. So we designed our own platform. My friend Phoenix, her daughter, actually built all the Discord for us.
Nice.
And they built it between the two of them. And we just wanted to make, like somebody said there, like a safe place. We wanted somewhere safe that people could go to, and we wanted a platform for people to go to. It's called Synaptic Unity.
Lovely.
Can I stop you there? How did you come up with that?
What, the name?
Yeah.
So we have there's two Discords that run side by side. So one is specializing in people with chronic health and disabilities, which is called Sapling Space.
Okay.
And we tried to make...
It's one of those things that you don't really hear, do you?
And because obviously a sapling is something that's growing and something that needs care and something that's... Because we are always growing and we're always trying to...
Love that.
And then we were like, hang on, we need to try and find a name that kind of links with that one. So Phoenix put it into ChatGPT, funnily enough.
Lovely.
That's one of the names that came up. So she sent me a list of all these different names that we were thinking of, right, for this Discord. And it was like, I really like that one. That one's got a real, like, good ring to it.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, let's go with that.
And I think it's always like things, I feel like you know when you know you've got a good one, because you'll say it and it's like, yeah, that sits 100% sits well.
When we said about
it's just one of those that you don't really hear much about, if that makes sense. Like that kind of like the name of it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's completely unique.
Yeah. I like it though because it's unique, but it's unique to what's the word I'm looking for? It's unique, but it's unique to what it's meant for, if that makes sense. Like the goal of it. Yeah.
And it's unity because we are all together and everyone's part of this community that helps each other. So...
Well, guys, what I will say as well, before we end the live today, what I will say as well, when this goes up on YouTube, when it goes up in our website as well, Jim's link to his TikTok, and if he wants to as well, the link to his Discord will be added to them as well. So it will all be put in there with the description of the links as well. So if anyone's watching this back as well, wants to join, there will be links to that as well. If that's all right with you, Jim.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say about the Discord thing is if people message me, because we like to try and get to know people before having them in the Discord. We want it because we're trying to keep it into a safe place. We want to, because we got a lot of people in there that need help, and we want to be a safe place. So if you want to be a part of it, just send me a message and I'll get to know you and whatever.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing as well, is like you don't want someone just joining something and them not feeling like you're going to be able to help them in any sort of way. So I feel like getting to know someone is, I feel for me as well with my page is like, I definitely, if I see people struggling, I always reach out or approach them to reach out to me, because you never want to always add that added pressure onto them. But you want them to know that you're there for them for the right reasons, basically, don't you,
Yeah.
Jim?
You want the right people there.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think to start off this podcast thing that we've been setting up, Calv, I think I said it at the beginning, but I generally don't feel like we could have picked anyone better than having this kind of in-depth.
I totally agree with you though.
We've got just under 30k likes across this hour and 20 minutes or whatever. We've not had below 8 people in this live since this all started, and I feel like each one of us has all had their input on someone else's life in the past, and I feel like, Jim, you've definitely been able to open a few people's eyes up, including myself, and definitely probably Calvin and a couple of other people in the live. That, yeah, I just want to take the time out to quickly just say, like, thank you for giving us the time of day, being part of our joint operation in this thing that we call life. Thank you for giving me the time of day the other day to kind of get to know you a little bit better and have a whole book written out on 2 different pages of topics that we can go across, because it's something that me and Calvin has spoken about for a long time. And whether we was going to do it on our own or joint together, I feel like with me, you, Calvin, and a couple of other people that we got coming up in the future, it's one of them that is going to help bring so much to it. Do you know what I mean? It's like Matt just said, thank you for the live, and Jim, thank you for your story. Do you know, like I said, Matt's from Reading. He doesn't know Calvin. He doesn't know you. Me and him are very close, but he's very much in tune with other people, and he's always keen to learn about other people's stories. And I've been talking to him about doing this yesterday, the day before, been on the phone to him saying that I spoke to you. I wrote stuff down, and he said that he was going to join and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I think we've kind of achieved perfect of everything of what we wanted to achieve, Calv, to be honest, mate. Do you know what I mean? And same for yourself, Jim.
I definitely think you mean, yeah.
I think we've had such a great
response. Before, what I will say though is, just before we do end this, what I will say is, though, is a big thank you to, like, going off what Ty just said as well, big thank you to everyone that's coming into the live. Me and Ty have been speaking about this for, months, about doing how we were going to do it, how we were going to get this live podcast working, inviting guests, because, guests that we bring in aren't exactly going to be where we are. So it's like, how do we fit this in? What the right methods are and stuff like that. So we've been talking about it, and then obviously things behind the scenes have obviously had to stop it and stuff like that. But I'm glad that our first episode for this was Jim, and the work that you've done and the story as well, mate, is absolutely fantastic. And I just hope that you keep on going and keep on thriving. And one day we're going to be seeing you living it up big, right up here, living it up big. And that what I'll be saying, he's done it. He's gone there. He's done it, and he's accomplished what he was set out to accomplish.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you, boys, for having me on.